Hey We Deemers, it's Sal, and I wanted so bad to recommend the Xiaomi Elite Edition Gamepad. It has great build quality, mechanical switches, and a unique D-pad, which I kinda like. But sadly, there's one thing that keeps it from being a really good gaming controller. Let's take a closer look. The Xiaomi Elite Edition Gamepad. Now I know I highlighted all the pros in the intro that make this a good controller, but left you in the dark as to why I can't recommend this controller and why it kind of falls short of being a really good gaming controller. Before we get into why it might not be worth you swapping out your current PC controller for this one, I'd like to dive a little deeper into build quality, what it does good, and how it compares to the king of controllers, the Xbox One controller. Are we sensing a little fanboydom? The Xiaomi Elite's build quality is amazing. The plastic housing is pretty solid. The controller has some weight in the handle due to the vibration motors and gyro, so it feels pretty solid in the hands. There are 4 action buttons: start, select, menu, home, a D-pad, top bumper buttons, back bumper buttons, triggers, and 2 analog sticks. God, that was a mouthful. The buttons are tactile switch, which feel really premium and sound pretty cool. The analog sticks size-wise are comparable to the Xbox One controller, but feel a lot more solid and tighter. The extra buttons on the back are just bumper buttons and can't be reprogrammed to any other button, which is kind of a bummer. However, I'm glad they included these buttons because the top buttons are a stretch to get to, and over time does cause some pain in the hands. The D-pad, well, it's unique, and I'm not entirely sure if it's better than the traditional D-pad, but I kinda like it. It seems like the controller has a flaw, or mine is defective. I could get the controller to connect to Bluetooth, but it wouldn't actually work on either PC or Android. With the controller in Bluetooth mode, Windows 11 recognized it as a mouse and keyboard, but it didn't even function as that. Moving on to Bluetooth Android, which is what I'm calling it, it connects as a controller, but when I map the buttons in Steam, it doesn't recognize the trigger buttons, and as far as Android, it didn't even seem to work at all. Now there's always a chance that I'm an idiot. I did something wrong. So I connected my Xbox One controller to my phone, and it worked perfectly. I'm in the process of trying to find out whether my controller is defective. If and when I confirm that, I'll report back. The video is not even over, and I'm already reporting back. For some reason, while finishing this script, I connected the controller to my Nvidia Shield again, and it worked via Bluetooth. Naturally, I decided why not test it on my phone again, and by the powers of the technical gods, it worked. As to why this happened, the only answer I have for you is... Guess we move on and test the controller using the USB dongle. There's a little compartment on the left handle of the controller where the USB dongle lives. Steam recognized the controller as an Xbox 360 controller and functioned without changing any of the settings. Testing the controls in Doom, everything seemed to work fine. No drift, no latency, and just an overall good experience. Wanted to test the D-pad, so I loaded up Alwa's Awakening, and the D-pad works pretty good, but I will say, your thumbs don't feel quite as planted as it does on the Xbox One controller. If you're a racing fan, the one thing you want to see in a controller is analog triggers, and the Xiaomi Elite has them, but the Xbox One controller seems to be more precise, and the pressure seems to be calibrated better, giving you more control over speed. Overall, the Xiaomi Elite Edition Gamepad is a pretty good controller, but there are some flaws that just can't be ignored. Trigger buttons not being recognized by Steam while being connected to PC via Bluetooth, back buttons being fixed and not being able to be programmed. The bumper buttons are a stretch to reach, and the controller does not work via USB wired connection. Something else I want to point out, Xiaomi included a mobile phone holder, but not a USB Type-C wire. And for 60 to 70 bucks, that's kind of ridiculous. Xiaomi, it's not like I don't own a ton of them. Alright, two more things that I almost forgot. Battery life, I didn't exactly get to test it, but I will leave an update in the comments down below. But it has an 830 milliamp battery, so it should last you a pretty decent amount of time. Also, I know somebody's gonna ask me, how good is the Bluetooth connection? I walked downstairs from my second floor to my first floor and the controller was still working. As always, if you have any questions, leave those down below. For exclusive unboxings, DIY projects, and to just express your love for gaming, don't forget to check out the We Deem Gaming Community Facebook group. Connect with us on social, and all the featured product links are in the description as well. As for now, I'll see you in the next one.
Hey guys, instead of staring at my ugly mug, why don't you go ahead and check out one of our other videos? 1, 2, I'll wait. My busted face ain't going nowhere.